Melanie, is that a background? That looks so cute. Or are you really all?
Thanks. It's actually what's behind me. It was prettier at night, so it's a picture of what's behind me.
That looks great.
Thank you. It's my family room.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, Melanie, it's 12:02. Can I get a thumbs up to get started? Or you want to give it another minute? You're on mute.
Matt's on here now, so if you want to go ahead and get started, you can.
All right. Let's go ahead and do that. Once again, good morning. Thank you for joining us. The Continuum of Care Division welcomes you. This is our fourth webinar series, and we are continuing to host these on a monthly basis. This slide talks about the purpose, our thinking behind why we come together. And when we thought up these webinars, we really wanted to provide a space to recognize local talent. We have so much good work that is happening on a local level, thanks to all of you and the agencies that you represent. And so each month, our hope is to provide a space where you can share on the different programs that you are administering. We are also looking at designating some websites where we just talk about, an educational topic. Shout out to Jim Bolas, who is really advocating to dedicate one webinar just to focus on staff development for youth providers. So keep an eye out for that. Our team is going to be working closely with him to make that happen. We want to remind you that if you would like to feature your agency or a special project or a coordination effort that is underway, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to connect with you. You can email us at coc@rivco.org. On the screen, you'll see the agenda for today. I have one more minute to finish this welcome. We're going to be hearing from Operation Safe House. We have Matt Radican and Rainbow Marler, who are here and are going to be talking about the services they provide to youth. The second half of today's webinar series will feature Cordell Thompson. He is the Community Impact Specialist for Access Foundation, and we'll be talking about a new program, A Sense of Home, that provides specialized supportive services to foster youth. We have designated some time at the end for Q&A, but we also want to encourage you to take advantage of the feature in the chat box. So I see that some people have already started signing in. Please take time to type in your name, the agency that you are representing, and also use the chat feature to ask any questions so that as speakers are presenting their information, they know that they can respond to questions as they come up. But as a reminder, we do have a couple minutes at the end to review any unanswered questions with both speakers. Next slide. And with that, I just realized I did not introduce myself. I think hopefully most folks know me by now. My name is Tanya Torno. I am the manager for the Continuum of Care Division under the county's Housing, Homelessness Prevention and Workforce Solutions Department. And I just want to thank Melanie Wilson, who really is the person, the point of the point person for the webinar series. She has done such a great job working with all of our partners to make this happen. If you're wondering who is Melanie, she is the person with the Hallmark Christmas background and the Christmas hat. Many of you are familiar with her. So she is here, and I just wanted to take time to acknowledge her for all the hard work she has put into planning these workshops. So with that, let's jump in. We are ready now to hear from Operation Safe House. Matt, Rainbow, are you on the line? You guys, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much again. Thank you, Melanie and Tanya and Laura and everybody for putting this together. Rainbow is not going to be here at the beginning unless I'm wrong and she talks right now. She asked me to jump in for her. She's dealing with a situation at the moment and asked me to take it over. But I'm doing these presentations left, right, and sideways, so should be no change in the schedule. So yeah, we're from Operation Safe House, and what we focus on is helping youth in crisis and homeless youth between the ages of 11 all the way up to 24. And we have a bunch of different services that we can offer them to help them get off the streets or not have to experience homelessness in any way. Next slide, please. One thing that we like to talk about is just what it means to be youth in crisis, or what does youth homelessness look like, because it's definitely something that most people don't have a great concept of when we are dealing with homelessness in general, or when we're talking to the public. Their conceptualization of what homelessness is usually based off of media representation, and usually pretty stereotyped to be those individuals that are having mental health crises, are talking to themselves on a street corner, are pushing a shopping cart. That usually does not reflect youth homelessness. We refer to them as the invisible population, because when we have volunteers and we're doing street-based outreach and we're walking down the street and trying to engage with people, sometimes our volunteers will walk straight past two people on a park bench, and I'm like, well, why didn't you talk to them? They're not homeless. They look great. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, let's go engage them, talk to them, share some information and awareness, and find out that they or someone they know is actually experiencing that homelessness. So it's very important that we continue to have presentations like this, talk to people, and make sure that people know that there are resources available, because one of the main problems is identification of youth in crisis. And if they aren't identified in their schools or through a mandated reporter or through a counselor or some sort of means, they're going to continue to experience the abuse or whatever situation is happening and not be connected to the vast array of resources that are there for them. Next slide, please. And one more time. So sorry, this one's still got the buttons clicked in. So next, please. And you can click that probably one or two. That's fine right there. Yeah. Next time I'll send you one that has all of them loaded in. And we also like to talk about why youth are going to run away. And there is that general idea that's just kids being rebellious and kids not wanting to listen to their parents or do chores. And that's generally not the case. Usually youth are going to be running away due to the fact that it is no longer safe to be in the home. And that's due to a vast array of different ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Those can be physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, divorce. I'm sure you all know about different ACEs and the experiences that kids might be dealing with that are going to make it safer to be on the streets than at home, even though the streets have their own vast array of dangers and ways that they can be exploited. And that comes with being on the streets is all the consequences of being on the streets. And as you can see by some of the numbers there's lots of risk factors that come to actually having to stay in a park or stay in a place that's not habitable not meant for human habitation. So that is why we always try to focus on youth in crisis and trying to help them before they have to spend the night on the street. And offering them solutions that are not the general adult solutions, because our adult solutions are amazing. You know, our adult shelters are amazing. Our staff at Path of Life and CVRM that we talk to constantly are amazing. But it's not always youth centric and not offering them things that they would like. So we want to get in there and be able to help them before that has to occur. And also with our dropout rates, you know, we have other partners that will have things where they require it's totally fine to move on as well, but have like a high school diploma that they need to have. And with the numbers that we know about, we know that they need that we need to lower our barriers and be sure that we are working on harm reduction and housing first, and working on everything we need to do to get those individuals housed as soon as possible. And if you found a youth on a street, click it one more time, sort of what would you do? This is one program that if you click one more time, the next slide we like to talk about, just because I feel a lot of people don't know about it, and it's a nationwide program. And if you click that 3 more times, the National Safe Place program is a really great program that offers, that is all across the US and offers a convenient, easy way for a youth experiencing crisis to get to the closest safe place site. For Riverside County, that's Operation Safe House. San Bernardino County, it's Our House. I believe LA County is CoC Youth. So there's all these different areas in this network created to help youth get where they need to go. And if you click it 2 more times, a few more will show up. So our fire departments, our police departments, our libraries, and our schools are all safe place sites, and even our RTA buses. So anyone that's ever ridden the bus, or just stare at the next bus that drives by you while you're driving down the street, has that sticker right next to the door. What that means is any kid gets on the bus and says, I need a safe place, the dispatcher on the bus calls, or the bus driver calls dispatch, and the dispatch will either get in contact with us to pick them up if the bus is not heading in the right direction, or the bus will continue in that direction and we will meet up with that bus and help them out. The same with our police departments. We do presentations with our police constantly to let them know that if a kid, and our police tell us this constantly, that the kid says to their face, I will leave the second you leave. So take off already because I'm gone. And we want to offer them a different alternative, again, so they can avoid consequences and the risk factors that we talked about of being on the streets. So this is one great thing that you can offer essentially anybody to help youth know that there's ways for them to get help. Next slide, please. I think schools will pop up, so one more time. Thank you so much. And then some programs that we have, and it's great that you skipped that one because it's just 2 bullet points anyways, is we have emergency shelters and transitional living programs for our kiddos to take advantage of. If you click it twice for this one, our main one is our youth shelter. Our youth shelter in Riverside has been there for 30 years. It's located right off of Van Buren and Magnolia in the Arlanza area. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we do intakes at 3 in the morning and several in the middle of the day. You know, if there's ever an unaccompanied youth on the street, we will make room and we will have a space available for them. For anyone that's in crisis and it's that problem with the family dynamic, we ask that they just give us a call and we'll work on what we can do. If we are at capacity, we also can offer them counseling on an offsite basis, that family counseling to help try and fix that problem and help make it so whatever situation is going on that's having the youth run away, we can fix that. But if not, we would love to have them come stay at our location for 3 weeks or 21 days. And if you click to the next slide, please, while they are staying at our shelter, we're going to offer them individual counseling, group counseling, and family counseling, all trying to work on that situation. And if you click it, I think 3 or 4 more times, some things are going to pop up. And I'm sure as some of our other youth providers know about, the McKinney-Vento Act, or it's a federal law requiring all sorts of different rights for our kiddos, especially about education. So we have an RCOE site at our youth shelters, offering them education and obviously recreation in a safe environment. So our big focus is helping them with their mental health, helping them fix that problem at home, and then making sure that they're staying on track with education. And everything that Bo's been doing, especially focusing on the internet providing for a bunch of our kiddos, because right now during COVID, so we've really learned, especially in our desert region, how many internet gaps there are. We're really lucky that most of the kids coming in at the moment have their Chromebooks in hand. So instead of them having our RCOE teacher teach them, directly in their current schools, doing and keeping up with all the current coursework and helping them with their homework. It's definitely different. Now we have them all scattered around the house, in the kitchen, the recreation room, and different tables, all with headphones in, doing their work. But I think it's actually pretty cool that we've been able to adapt and keep them all going and moving forward during this time. Next slide, please. Yeah, 24 hours, so anytime. Also, I want to just make sure you know, this is a program that is replicated in the desert region. So we try to cover the desert region and our western and mid-county regions. So our Riverside area, and this one's located in Thousand Palms. So if there's any youth in the desert that you find out need some help, this can definitely be an option to help. Next slide, please. And I think you can click it twice on this one. Our mainstay shelter is one that I really care about a lot because I helped set it up, and I think it's a really amazing thing, especially being a street outreach worker and not having great youth emergency options to offer an 18-year-old. We have 17-year-olds in our youth shelter, and their parents disappear and realize that they're a month or two away. So like I can go away and they're going to have time before they're going to be able to say that we've abandoned our child here. And they become 18 in our shelter, and one of our main options for emergency housing would be Path of Life. But unfortunately for an 18-year-old that just turned 18, they're going to get really afraid of that situation, or they might be exploited. So we were able a year ago to open up the first S.T.A.Y shelter in the Riverside area for 18 to 24-year-olds. Now it's only 4 beds, but these beds are usually full, and we are really trying to help them, offering them applications daily, giving them really intense case management to make sure that within our 30-day period, we can get them to better long-term options, permanent housing options, or transitional living. If you'll go to the next slide, please. And click it a few times. So yeah, other than just playing video games like in this photo, we are definitely offering them all this sort of services. We are giving them that on-site clinician. We are connecting them to any mental health resources. A lot of our individuals are going to be dealing with some mental health crises, and we need to help them and connect them to those resources. Life skills trainings. Most of them don't have a resume, have never applied for a job before. So we do like mock interviews and things with them, as well as just like, all right, guys, we're going to clean up after ourselves. We're going to show you how to do laundry. We're going to show you how to cook some meals, because these are all skills. It's adulting and helping them be sure that they can live on their feet and move forward when they do get into a transitional living program. So I think it's a really great option for people that fit in the age range for an emergency shelter. Which is, I feel, really necessary, and I wish we even had more room, because for me in street outreach, my phone is ringing constantly, and I would like to have more places to be able to offer them. So next slide, please. And then one of the places we're applying left, right, and sideways. If they're foster youth, we're offering them extended foster care housing. If they need rehabilitation services, we're offering them rehabilitation services. If they do, if you click 2 more times, I believe, if they do fit into the 18 to 21-year-old age range, we absolutely have them apply to our transitional living program. This program, what they focus on here is they get a year and a half free housing. And during that time, their only obligation is that we require them to work 32 hours a week, and we put half of their income into a savings account for them to help them build that savings, so that when they move out, they'll have the ability to afford their own rent. They do not need to come in with those 32 hours. They do not need to come in with a job. They can come in homeless and with nothing, and we will do the same stuff that they did at the mainstay, where we're going to help them build a resume, help them learn how to apply to jobs, and help them get that job, and then do that. If they don't have a GED or college, we prioritize that, or GED. We prioritize high school diplomas and GEDs first and drop our work requirement. And then we also greatly encourage college afterwards, if that's something that they can manage and do with working and college. Right now, we have several people going to RCC. We have 2 individuals going to UCR that we're really proud of.
Okay,
and as well,
back on.
Okay. And as well, we also have, I want to talk about, based off like the savings, one of our last young ladies that graduated from our program, she was working her entire time. She stayed the full 18 months. She was a single mother. And when she graduated, she had $18,000 in her bank, which made lots of us staff very jealous and very proud of her. So we know that it's a program that can work. We know that it's something that can really help get them to a safe, stable spot so that even if she lost her job, she would have all of that savings and all of that sort of cushion so that she would not need to return to the streets and be able to offer safe housing, not only for herself, but for her child. So yeah, I think the TOP is a great program. If you click again to the next slide, it is also a program that is mirrored in our desert region. And it is called Harrison House out in Thousand Palms as well. It's located right next door to our youth shelter. If we click one more time. And then there's the street outreach program. If you click that, I believe 3 or 4 times. We cover the entire age range. That is it, from 11 to 24. And essentially what we do is we fill in all those gaps. So if it's from that safe place site and getting them to the youth shelter, we're there. If it's just screening those phone calls and referring people to the best resource that's for them, that's what we do. If it's the 17-year-old that we know's going to turn 18 and going to the youth shelter and talking to them and offering our emergency shelter options, if that's not what they want to reunify with individuals in another area, helping them so they have a safe transportation to there. It's making sure that there's no gaps in services. We also partner highly with our youth opportunity centers. So back when COVID wasn't the only thing we were all talking about, a consistent schedule and all across the county and all of our youth opportunity centers. If you guys don't know what those are, we had a rental assistance event at the Rubidoux YOC. They focus on offering schooling and employment options to individuals that might have dropped out of school or having difficulty going to school between that entire TAY age range, usually from 16 to 24. They also help foster youth, low income, everything like that. So as those areas where individuals might experience homelessness, we want to be there and have that presence so that they know of us, or so the staff know of us, so that if one of their kiddos is able to tell the staff that they have a crisis going on, they can reach out to us and we can get them connected. And we also partner with our city and our county frequently. For example, we're doing the Longest Night event with Stepping Stones this Friday to help get some warm weather clothing to our individuals that need it. And our county constantly. We absolutely love our partnerships and want to partner more. So if anybody ever has anything going on that they think that we could help out with, please reach out to us. We would love to help out in any capacity. Next slide, please. And for any individual that we speak to that's over the age of 18 that doesn't want an emergency shelter or doesn't like the sort of program aspect of our mainstay, if you click that, I think 3 more times, they're going to receive all the same housing options, all the same applications, all the same case management from our street outreach team as they would in our mainstay. If they're on the street and they only want rehabilitation services, we're going to help them out with that. If they don't want shelter but want mental health services, we're going to help connecting them to the Journey or to Stepping Stones. If it's immediate, we're going to help them get in contact with our CBAT team or our CREST team. Whatever, we want to know about most of the resources in our county so that we can offer them directly to our individuals and get them connected to the right resource as quickly as possible. So all the same services, even if you don't want to come to our shelters. And next slide, please. Yep, all that good stuff. Cup of Happy, just want to let everybody know, if you click it one more time, this one is for, oh, actually it's like 3 more times, is just our mental health wing of Operation Safe House. And essentially they mainly work in our schools, but they're really about preventing mental health and preventative measures and overcoming stigma. So they have all different groups that they run through schools and really partner directly with school counselors, help them with those coping skills. If you click it, I believe 2 more times, they also have a Lotus group, which is our LGBT support groups, their individual experiences and letting them know that their experience is okay, and sharing. We have peer support specialists with lived experience that they can give them just the support. And our biggest way of giving support is our mentoring program. They usually counselors will request directly where they can have 32 sessions of direct mentoring with an individual that might need some more support and some more help. So we also have that to help out our schools and all of our individuals that need some mental health preventative care. Next slide, please. There might be one more. And then we have an HT department. So what's the average age for someone being kicked out? You can ask yourself right now. If you click one more time, this one took me back while doing our HT training. 12 to 14 is the age that we are hearing. And if you click one more time, how long does it take for someone to approach an individual and try to exploit them? This is not the experience for all individuals that are on the street, but for those that have gotten out of or escaped a human trafficking situation, this is what the numbers are saying. So within that first hour, meaning that our team has to work very hard at identifying people in crisis on the street and approaching them and giving them resources. And it's a difficult job to do. And that people that really want to take advantage of youth are also very good at it. So it's just more important that youth services are being spread and there's a real general awareness about them so that we can really avoid these situations. And we're happy to have our HT team that can help out with that. Next slide, please. And to do that, we partner with RCAT, or Riverside County, and a human trafficking task force. And if you will click, I think 3 more times, and that's mainly for our minors, 11 to 17. Anyone over that age, there's other HT providers in the area that we would refer out, and through our training, we still can make sure that we can give them the appropriate services because we want to make sure we connect them with individuals and teams that have that direct training to help them and get them back to restoring some dignity and helping them get back to living their lives, especially if they're ready and willing and this is the time they want to get out of that lifestyle. We want to be there to support them and help them. So yeah, and next slide. And if you click it 1 or 2 more times, essentially that is us. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna update the email as well and send out mine in the chat as well. But those 2 numbers are for our street outreach workers numbers. The one on the far right is mine, and I put it in the chat. You can save either of those numbers. If you ever have an individual that's experiencing some crisis between 11 and 24, feel free to call us and refer to us, and we will try to do our best to help them. And even if they're not 24, we constantly get phone calls from 28-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 70-year-olds. We still do our best to know about all the resources in our county and refer them to the correct resource. So if you have an individual that needs some help, refer them to us and we'll try to connect them. We'll hear their story and see what we can do with them and what's the best resource for them.
Matt, thank you so much for that presentation. We do have 2 questions in the chat box. I wanted to give you an opportunity to answer those before we moved on. Just so everyone knows, we will be uploading this entire PowerPoint presentation to our website. I'll make sure to include a link in the chat box. In addition to the PowerPoint, the recording is also available. So if you have staff who weren't able to make it, no worries. They will be able to tune in and watch the material on their own time. Matt, first question, you talked about your transitional housing program. The age group there is different than the standard transitional age. Was the funding requirement, is this due to the funding requirement for the transitional housing? Question came from Karen Roper with City of Corona. She's also our CoC Vice Chair.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah, the TLP grant is for 18 to 21. So up to their 22nd birthday, we can do an intake for them. And unfortunately, that is the case. They also need to be a Riverside County dependent or somebody that's staying in Riverside County. So sometimes we have individuals applying from outside of county, and unfortunately, they wouldn't qualify then. If I get a phone call from somebody from San Bernardino County, I will refer them to different TLP programs and all the other programs. I think that's the oddest thing is that I've probably spent the most of my time the last few months finding out all the Orange County and all the San Bernardino County resources for our age groups, because we're trying to refer them to their areas. But yeah, unfortunately, that is 18 to 21, and for Riverside County individuals. But we also have other resources for our 22 to 24-year-olds. So, and they can still come to our emergency shelter. So if they need emergency services, we can still help them out and still want to help them out.
Great, thank you, Matt. There is a second question from Francine Edwards. First and foremost, great presentation. What's the capacity of the transitional living program and length of stay?
Sure. At our transitional living program, for our Riverside location, we have 4 PSH, or permanent supportive housing, which I didn't go into, but we have 4 PSH units, and then we have 12 transitional living program units, and they are 2-bedroom apartments, so the individual has their own bedroom, but they do share that unit with one other individual. So 12 units at the time. And then at the same location as our TLP is where we have our mainstay. So we've taken 2 of the apartments, and that's, again, those are 1-bedroom apartments with 2 beds in each. So that's how we have the 4 for our mainstay program. And then in our desert region, oh boy, I think it's 3 PSH and 11 or 12 TLP beds out there. And we do have availability in our TLP at the moment. So we have several of our mainstay clients applying for those positions now, but we are always accepting applications and always want to try to give them some help. And we also, of course, we partner with our TLP. So all the time we get people that only call our TLP, but during that application process, they're talking to them and hear, oh, you are not couch surfing at the moment, or you are not at your parents and risk of being kicked out. You're on the street right now. You need our street outreach team, and they'll refer to us, and then we'll connect to them that way. So
thanks, Matt. And we'll take one more that came in. I think it's an important one, but can you talk about your services and specifically being able to support youth who have children?
Absolutely. So although it's rare for our youth shelter, we have had pregnant individuals that, due to domestic violence situations, couldn't go home, and we partnered with, like, the mom, for example, to have a safe place for that individual to come to term while staying at our youth shelter. At our emergency shelter, we've had, I think, 4 or 5 mothers that have had children stay in our shelter, and when we do that, we do try to give them the room to themselves whenever space is available, because we understand if you're a young mom with a 1 or 2-year-old running around, that's a very different thing. So we try to give them that space, and we've definitely, if there's not room in a maternity facility that's specifically for pregnant moms, we don't want them on the street. So we're going to give them a spot and then work really hard on trying to find a place that's specifically for them. And both of our TLP programs do have an apartment that is specifically for single moms. So that's where the example that I spoke of, our last young lady that graduated with the $18,000 in her bank account, she was a single mom in that, and she was staying in that apartment. So we do have resources for pregnant moms and moms with young children.
Great, thank you, Matt. Lots of comments in the chat box just thanking you for your presentation. You are a great presenter. So we want to give you a round of applause for joining us. If we appreciate you staying on the line, just in case there are some questions at the end. However, if you can't, we can certainly circle back with you and then post any questions and your responses on our website.
And feel free to give me a call or email me if you have any questions. And thank you so much for all the time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Matt. And in Jim Bolus's words, you rock. Jumping on to speaker number 2, we're so excited to allow Cordell Thomas, who again is representing a sense of home today. Cordell sits on the Board of Governance that supports the Continuum of Care membership body. So we're excited to have him joining us today. Cordell, go ahead and let you take it away.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I hope you can all hear me clearly, and I hope this finds you all well this great Thursday morning. I am remiss at how this all came about, but I wanted to give you a short introduction as to some of the things that even go back to what Matt talked about earlier. I think these programs that we come up with for that young lady to have saved so much money, I think talks about the importance of asset building in this at-risk youth community. So as we talk about it, I wanted to just begin to introduce A Sense of Home as an organization that I met through a former foster youth who took one of our financial independence training programs, financial stability. And her learning took her to a place where she improved her credit score, she improved her savings, she paid off her debt, and then she found a sense of home. And to give you an introduction as to what a sense of home actually is, I thought it would be best just to start with this video, and then we'll go from there.
Are you seeing the YouTube start up?
Actually,
We are not.
No, I don't see it.
Not yet.
Let me change the screen. Are you seeing it now?
Yes.
Where I came from, I literally had nothing but what I had on in myself. My whole life, I've never had a home and never really owned anything.
It is on mute, so.
Because I never really had a home. During this pandemic, volunteers actually volunteered to come and help. That means a lot to me. Like, I kind of want to cry.
I'm a nurse, and I see that you're a nurse's aide, so I know you have a caring heart. And I'm really excited for you, and there's such a difference between a house and a home. And today you're going to have a home.
Yeah! For them being here for me today, I'm speechless and super excited, shaky, and just ready for what's next. I feel really excited, a little overwhelmed, but super happy, super grateful. It makes me want to come and volunteer myself so everybody else can feel what I'm feeling. All the foster youth out there, former foster youth. It's really special, and I am so happy to be a part of this. Thank you so much. Everyone's awesome. Due to my background, I really didn't have anyone, mostly lonely. And with this experience, it just proves that there's really good people out there, whether they're your family or not. There's people out there that care about you and that have a huge heart and that are just really good people. Finally, I get to call a place my home.
Thank you, Melanie. This is a critical issue when we look at the statistics. CovenantHouse.org, according to them, 50% of adolescents aging out of the foster care and juvenile system will be homeless within 6 months. And the reasons that support those numbers is because of them being unprepared. They have limited education and no social support. So what we're trying to do in this case is provide some resources to our young people, and I think it was appropriate to present in this type of setting. What I want to do, I'm really excited to do, is introduce you to Roxana, who works at A Sense of Home and is my guest today. So please, if you could, welcome Roxana Tehran. Roxana, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here. Hi, Cordell. Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Everyone can hear you. Yes. Yes, Roxana, tell
Yeah.
me about what we just saw. What we just saw.
So yeah, thank you for having me today. It's such a pleasure to be here. And yes, what you guys just saw right there was how we are creating homes for former foster youth during COVID. So because of COVID, we are not doing any deliveries and going into applicants' homes. Instead, we are setting up a home creation in our warehouse, and then we reveal the home creation to the applicants, and it's just as touching and an incredible experience for both the volunteer and the applicant.
So the process has changed a little bit, yes?
Yes, it has. So the application process is all virtual. The way we do the onboarding process, applicants submit everything online. They submit pictures and videos of their home, and then we do Zoom interviews, and then we finally meet the day they are scheduled to come in for a warehouse home creation. So we managed to find a way to still make this experience very fulfilling and great for both the applicant and for the volunteers.
What is your position? What is your title there at A Sense of Home?
Yes, so I am the program director, and my responsibility is to help the recipients with the onboarding process and go over the application and then any barriers that they encounter. Some applicants share that they have not yet moved into their home yet, so they're still waiting for a lease. So we help with that. Also, transportation, helping clients find transportation like a U-Haul so they can show up to their scheduled pickup and get their furniture. Also, we also support the applicants if they need movers, if they need to have a support team there with them. And then once they have received their home creation, we connect our applicants to resources. We have a resource guide that we have printed out for them, and we review it with the applicant. And in the resource guide, we include resources from mental health agencies, mentorship programs, and all these other services that are targeted toward former foster youth that will help them be able to thrive and succeed once they're in their home with their furniture.
Regionally, where do you reach to, or where do you help deliver to, and what impact do you have on people? Is it LA based? Is it Inland Empire? Is it Southern California? How far do you reach?
So, so for the most part, all of our applicants do come from the LA County area. Before COVID, we would do delivery and home creations to any applicant that needed a full home creation, and they were approximately 30 miles away from our warehouse. But any applicant that is willing to drive to our warehouse in Hawthorne is able to get a home creation. But yes, majority of our applicants come from the LA County, and then we have some from Riverside County and Lancaster and Kirk County. We have had those applicants as well.
If you were able to put a value on what it is that you're doing for each one of these young people in reference to assets, what is a value put on a home creation for these young people?
The value is approximately about like $6,000, because we do provide everything that you can think of. We provide couches, really great mattresses, foundation, beddings, decor, and many books. If there's children, we provide many books. Anything that will help the children with their developmental process. So we try to do toys and books, and if parents express they're into any kind of hobby, we try to give them any tools that we have in order to help them succeed.
Excellent. I just got a call last week from a young lady that was assisted by you, and I think we also provided another one. Her name, I guess we'll leave that out at this point, but she got the support from your agency to set up her new apartment. So I think our agencies out here were part of that, and I think you'll see some pictures later on. But the other ones, both of them, it seemed, had taken financial stability training too. So this does provide an overall perspective of what you're actually doing with these young people.
Yes.
I know you have extra slides in here too, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Roxanne, and give you the next 3 to 5 minutes just to talk through a little bit more of what a sense of home is to young people as we're looking at these multidisciplinary approaches to ending homelessness.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So yes, so like it says here, we have now completed 600 homes. So between this week and next week, we're down to our last few homes, and we are so proud because it's been a lot of hard work, but it's a community effort that we were able to accomplish this. So a sense of home prevents homelessness by providing furnished, community-created first-ever homes for youth aging out of foster care, and we do it with donated furniture and home goods. So while there's organizations that exist to support former youth transitioning to independence, there is no other organization that is exclusively dedicated to providing home necessities to help our youth and successfully achieve their self-sufficiency. Next slide, please. Yes, so our applicants do show that 50% of the homeless population is spent in foster care. So furnishing a home is a weapon against homelessness. So we have noticed that home is a gateway to improve well-being, the greater likelihood of success in work, education, and relationship. So when we do these interviews with these applicants, they all share with us how depressing it is to be in a space that doesn't have any furniture. Many of them express how they feel unmotivated. They don't have a space where they can study or do their virtual learning. Many of them don't feel like it's a home because it's their first time being on their own. It's their first time where they have their own space, where they have privacy. So many of them, they express how it's a difficult time too. So research has shown that students are more productive, less distracted, and less irritable, and are able to process information better when they're in a living space that is uncluttered, organized, and a functional home. And so then we also have experience where clients say that the roof is not enough. Although they have 4 walls, it does not fully feel like a home until they have been given furniture and filled with items that identify what they like, who they are, and what they want to be in life. And then when we do the Zoom interview, they express, we ask them, how are you coping without furniture? And many of them, when there's mothers who express, it's very difficult because my kids, they want a bed. Or we go to other family homes and we see like everything that they have, and we come back to ours and it's empty. So we do see how this does affect their emotional well-being. Next. So this is our model, and so we just want to show you guys the process, so where it begins. So first we get applications from former foster youth who have just moved into their first home. So many of them are now in 1-bedroom apartment studios where they have no furniture. And then we collaborate with furniture stores and home goods stores, businesses and schools where they do a donation surplus, and then they do receive tax deductible receipts. Then we do home sponsorships where there are businesses and family members who want to come together and build a group. And for 6K, they do a life-changing team building experience. So some people do it in honor of a family member. Some businesses do it in order to do some team building experience. And all sponsorships always, share with us that this experience was wonderful because it's just an experience full of love, and you're giving, and you can feel the love once you're doing the event. Once we have connected an applicant with the sponsorship, we do a 90-minute home creation event. So in the 90 minutes, we go to an empty apartment and empty space, and we just transform it into a home where the volunteers and the applicants connect, and the volunteers connect because they create a place that is so unique for the applicant. The volunteers are given information about the applicants, what they like to do on their free time, what is their passion, what are their goals, and so that's why it makes everything much more unique. And then setting up the individual for success. Thriving in a home full of hope, dignity, and love is our main focus. We know that this will improve their well-being, educational, and job performance. And then everyone wins. We have, like I mentioned, we have volunteers express that they feel so happy and they appreciate the experience. And then after because the applicants felt loved and felt heard and felt like people showed up for them, they are able to pay it forward by being volunteers and doing the same thing for the next applicant. Next. And so here we have some photos of an applicant like Cordell was mentioning, who we provided a home for last week, and we did a warehouse home creation and we set it up for her. And here is where Cordell and his team was able to help the family set up at their home. Unfortunately, right now, A Sense of Home is not doing any deliveries because of COVID, but it was so great that this team was able to go to the applicant's home and still was able to set up for them.
And this is how it looked afterward, yes? Yes,
this is how it looked. It was wonderful. It looks amazing.
I've been on 5 of them now. This is this one I couldn't go on, of course, because I had to be quarantined, but it was exciting to see it nonetheless, and have several of some of our partners even in the room with us now being a part of this process. Well, I'm excited about it. It's about setting these young people up for success where everyone does win, using your words, Roxana. And I just want to personally thank you for being a part of this presentation and allowing us to get a little bit more of what A Sense of Home is and what they do. And I will just reach out and say, if any of you know of foster youth, the process will, or former foster youth, the process to take care of it will easily be accessed from asenseofhome.org, their website, and or if they'd like to connect directly with Roxana or myself, we can make certain it happens if they're out here in the Riverside County and Inland Empire community. Any other words of wisdom, Roxana?
I would like to review on our onboarding process really quick, if I may.
Go right ahead, please.
Awesome. Okay, so so the way people could apply for a program is by going on our website and then clicking on the tab to request assistance. And once they fill out an application with us, the additional documents that they will need to submit is a copy of their lease, photographs of their home, and a video walkthrough of their home, and then they have to sign 2 waivers. And then a foster care verification that which can look like a word of court letter. So once they submit those additional documents, we receive their completed application. They will get a call back. We do an over-the-phone interview, then we do a Zoom interview, and then they are scheduled for a warehouse home creation. Due to COVID, we are not doing any deliveries. So the applicant is required to rent a U-Haul and then come to their scheduled date, and then we will give them a warehouse home creation event, and then we will load up their U-Haul, and then they go home. They set up everything the way we set up for them if they like. They are also welcome to arrange it however they like. Once they are home, they get home, we send them an email. And in the email, we include pictures and videos of the setup, and so if they would like to recreate it at home themselves. And right now, due to COVID, we do have a minor delay. So the turnaround time from when an applicant fills out and completes an application to when they get scheduled, it's about 1 to 2 months. But hopefully, within next month, we go back to having our normal time frame, which was like about 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you.
We have some questions in the chat box. I would like to say also, if they have delivery, because of how critical money is for this demographic group, that we do know that Access Foundation has budgeted to pay for 10 to 12 of these U-Haul rentals, so that these young people can don't have to worry about how they're going to transport their equipment over to the Inland Empire. Question has to do in the chat box was awesome program. What are some examples of public funding sources that support these programs, and are there private foundations supporting the program?
Yes, so we get support. It's mostly private funding. We get we do on Instagram and on it's mostly on Instagram where we do all of where we ask people to donate any used items, and it's mostly people from the community who just hear about us and then they come and they deliver items to us.
Excellent, excellent. The last one was, please let us know when your next home creation is happening, as I know our staff, including myself, would love to come and help. So yes, most definitely, we'd be more than happy to let you know when the next one out here in this region would be, and we'll be more than happy to have you all socially distancing, of course, and being safe. That's why the numbers will be down, but yes. I'll put my contact information in, and as well, Roxana, if you could put yours in,
yes,
that would be awesome.
Yes, I am the main point of contact for any applicant that would like to be in this program. So my email is just roxana@asenseofhome.org, but I'll put it in the chat as well. And if any agency service provider has a former foster youth that has a place and needs furniture, they can just contact me, and then I can help the applicant from there.
Awesome, awesome. Any other questions? I know we're at 11 o'clock. I will turn it back over to you, Tanya, if that isn't the case, and we'll put our contact information in the system, in the chat box.
Thank you so much, Cordell. Thank you, Roxana. Thank you, Matt. Truly impressed with all the great work that both of your agencies are doing to support our youth and young adults. It's so good to know that there are specialized services to support them. I think we can all think back to when we were that age, or if you're that age now, you're tuning in, and just recognizing that it truly takes a special person, or right, there was a special person in your life at that age who connected with you and you know, is needed to help you navigate different services that you need, because it can truly get overwhelming. And what we don't want is for youth and young adults of this age to get lost in our very large homeless delivery system. And with that, right, to be perhaps mixed with other general populations where they may feel disconnected. So we recognize, we understand that all the research suggests that youth and young adults need specialized services. They need to be paired up with individuals, coaches, mentors who understand their needs and can connect with them and support them. I now just want to turn it right back to you and thank each of you for joining us. We had at our highest level 50 participants today, so we want to thank you for joining us. We want to thank our CoC chair, Greg Rodriguez. I saw him in attendance, in addition to our vice chair, Karen Roper, who have just continued to support our Continuum of Care team and really helped us think up the idea for this program. We had a very diverse group today. I see lots of homeless service providers. We had our HOT team, County Sheriff's HOT team, in addition to other city and state representatives. So we just want to thank you again for joining us. As a reminder, all the materials, this recording, the PowerPoint, and any other supporting documentation will be available on our website. And I did include a link to that in the chat box. With that, it's 3 minutes after the hour. We want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Our next webinar series will be in the new year. So with that, Happy New Year as well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and please do not hesitate to reach out to our Continuum of Care team at coc@rifco.org. We'd love to hear from you. We're here to support you. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.